We had been dreaming of doing a ski traverse for quite some time. In early winter, we reached out to a few friends to find a fun group for this trip. Here we are, Luja, Tim, Ian and I. After some debate, we settled on the Lillooet Icefield traverse.
Throughout the winter, we developed the route, planned our meals, gathered all required gear and built and tested the toboggan. But shortly before our trip, the weather got really warm and avalanche risk increased significantly. Suddenly the entire trip was up in the air. We assessed our options and settled on a new route which would allow us to stay entirely in low-angle terrain.
From the greens of the valley we flew west and soon could see snow-covered mountains and eventually a wide ocean of snow and ice.
Once the heli flew off, it got really quiet and we were confronted with the reality that we were now on our own.
After setting up camp, we embarked on our first exploration. The scale of the landscape was unbelievable and totally messed up our understanding of distances. We ended up on a gentle ridge that allowed views onto a huge crevasse mess.
Eager to get some turns in, Tim descended on his long run down into the flats. From our vantage point, we could not even see our camp in the distance. We started joking of how many downtown blocks of Vancouver we could fit onto the glacier. Turns out, this little part of the ice field is pretty much exactly the size of the downtown peninsula.
Ian had brought a lightweight paraglider to the trip, and we were very happy to see him fly after sorting through all the strings. Under a clear night sky, we enjoyed dinner on our snow sofa and boiled water for the next day. Alarm clocks woke us up at 4:30. We crawled out of our cozy and warm sleeping bags, put on our down puffies and pants and had our first breakfast on the glacier. The sun rose while we were breaking up camp.
Our run down into the valley took us to a place where the Lillooet and Ring glaciers are bisected by the Bishop Glacier, creating what is called the four-way stop. However, due to glacier recession, the Ring Glacier is now disconnected, making it only a three-way stop.
This is absolutely insane terrain here. Behind me is Mount Lillooet. Huge. And then check this out here on the other side. A huge. Wow. Insane. Good trip.
The Lillooet Icefield, or ice cap, is one of the major ice fields in the Pacific Coast Mountains, formed by abundant precipitation originating from the ocean. With the ice cap as the highest point, glaciers extend into all directions, nourishing rivers and lakes that sustain wildlife, forests, and us humans.
We're warming up the engines right now. I'm gonna go for a little flight. Plan is to retract backwards, making us appear smaller and smaller in front of the humongous glacier of Lillooet Mt. We'll see how far we get. Yeah. Maybe we can even scope out our section and we're gonna squeeze. Yes. Alright.
We were blown away by the size of the icefall on the northeast face of Lillooet Mountain. It was higher than many high-rises in the city.
Yeah. Day 2 on the ice. The weather has caught up to us, so we're building a circular shelter. We have probed the glacier here. It's about 2.5 meter to 3 meter until we reach ice.
It's a miserable day, but there's always ways to make it better. Sunday!
Hi Ian.
Hola!
Look who's steaming.
Norse chicken noodle.
Okay guys, I think we're on Oilen.
Okay, what are we doing today?
Today we're gonna climb this unnamed peak. It's gonna be the first ascent. Never been climbed before. The slope is gnarly. You see open crevasses, 50 degrees slope angle. Yeah, but we are ready and we're gonna do it.
Well, so after climbing and skiing this unnamed peak that's so gnarly and has never been skied before ever, we're gonna continue our journey across the Ring Glacier to its end, where it transitions into a kind of X crossing with another glacier which name I can't pronounce. It starts with an N, and then we're gonna walk up that glacier and we'll see how far we get. We might set up a camp at the foot of Mount Stanley, the north side, to ski that tomorrow. Or if we're really fast today and the weather cooperates, we might still try it today and then go a little bit further. Let's see what happens.
Traveling from our camp at Mount Electo towards our next camp close to Stanley Peak wasn't easy. At first, it was very sun-blasted, so we had to wear nose guards and even gloves despite the heat. But then it became windy and overcast, and we made a route finding error that led us through a mess of crevasses and seracs on our way up to the Stanley Smith Glacier. Unable to find a wind-sheltered place to set up camp, we eventually gave up and dug ourselves in with big snow walls all around us. But the dramatic sunset views to the west made up for a hard day.
We leisurely got up at 6 AM and skinned to Stanley Peak. From the top, at nearly 3,000 meters, we were able to see the entire ice cap, allowing views into the direction we came from and the direction we were heading to.
Woo! Big summit!
After our descent from Stanley Peak, we traveled further north to set up our next camp, close to the base of Mount Fugora. Tim, do you want to explain how you built the wall there?
Yeah, so we only figured it out yesterday, before we were shoveling a hill, like morons. Now we cut proper blocks, and we put them slightly offset. And it's so much quicker. It provides excellent shape.
We built our sun shelter and added a tarp. Now we have this wonderful view of Monmouth and the Valley of Death, as we call it, because of the avalanche danger. In the evening, Ian and Tim set out for a stroll. Ian made a flight back to camp.
You ready? I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, here we go.
This is our camp from 2 days ago, and in the back there's Mount Stanley. And this is Mount Fulgora.
Here's Mount Tunetank.
For our last day on the top of the ice cap, we went up towards Mount Fulgora and made it to the final summit ridge. From there we had amazing views back to the way we came from, as well as a glimpse of Mount Wellington far in the northwest.
Summit of Fulgora. Spicy.
You guys ready? The corn is ready for harvest. That's the top. Yeah! Adios, amigos.
See you later.
I love this like finely tuned technique to strap the worm. First you hook in the front so it's pulling on the backpack and on those rivets. And then you just strap the shit out of that thing. I have this biting technique to not lose my advantage. The important part is to keep them out, so you can always check it up.
Cool. Thank you. Descending to our last camp at the toe of the Frank Smith Glacier, we passed by the impressive Porter Icefall. When we set up camp, we realized that we had now left the ice cap, and we saw flowing water, small bushes, and earth again.
Black stuff down there, that's glacial ice.
Can you explain us why we dug down here?
Because it was to enrich the glacier with some nutrients.
Yeah, I think this is our toilet house.
It is very, very sunny, very hot today. We're trying to build a water collector made from our ground sheet tent and the kettle just down in the hole there. So what we were trying to do was to dig kind of like a V-shape little valley and collect some snow in the middle in the hopes that it will be melted and flow down into the kettle. So we'll see about the results a little later.
We already harvested 1.5 liters, and the kettle was actually already overflowing, and it's already going crazy again. There's probably another liter in there. Pretty well functioning water maker.
Fracturing here. You can almost off the glacier over there.
Yeah.
We dipped our toes in the glacial lake, which first drains into the Lord River and eventually, in a very long clockwise loop, joins the Fraser.
Last day of the Lillooet Traverse.
Sadly, our trip was already at an end, but we decided to treat ourselves with one last ski run down the east slopes of Mount Fowler in the early morning sun. On this morning, we finally found the corn that we had been seeking all along. Back at camp, we packed up and had some breakfast when very suddenly our heli arrived to take us back into civilization.
The return route took us back across the ice field. Here we are over the Bridge Glacier. We were delighted to recognize some familiar areas such as Athelney Pass here and Pebble Creek. After a week in snow and ice, coming back to Pemberton was a strange experience. With the sudden smell of trees, songs of birds, and the noise of civilization. This traverse had come to an end, but we are all looking forward to the next one.